Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome back to the Operation Hill 100 Hard channel where we do what? Focus on healing human hot mother topics. What's up, you nosy motherfuckers? Let's get it going. But before we do, hit that thumbs up on that video, hit that thumbs up on that video, and let's get into this, Dear Deja. Dear Deja, I live in a 6-story building and there's about 4 apartments on each floor. I live on the 3rd floor and a Trinidadian family moved to me about a year ago. They have 3 kids, and the oldest is a teenage boy who can sometimes give me the impression that he's one of the girls. Oh, okay. I can also see that his parents are oblivious and he would keep it that way. Anywho, after 8 years with the bum ass post office, I was finally called for my social worker position with the New York City Department of Education. I was so excited up until last week on my very 3rd day. I received the tour of the building, day 1, given a copy of my caseload, day 2, and day 3, introduced to my new students. The 4th student I was introduced to coincidentally was my neighbor's son, who wanted to be referred to as their Zora at school. This child had on lip gloss, contacts, press-ons, and a blonde wig. I have never seen this version of him in my building. I was mortified. I pretended as though that was my very first time being introduced to him, her, and she did the same. I haven't seen it in school or my building since that day. I have questions. His parents? If so, will that ruin the relationship I'm trying to build with him or her and the other students? I can't start off my new job like this and I can't lose it either. Send help, signed, I'm not sure who lived next door. Okay. Let me take a sip of my water, right? Okay. Because I have questions too. What is the question? So it seems like if I'm assuming correctly, um, are you asking if what you're being what you're witnessing in your new position at your job, right? Which is a different version of this young man, right? And their sexuality and so on and so forth. Am I correct in thinking that you're asking if you should share what you are privy to at your job in your personal life with your neighbors? That's the question, right? I also can't remember, and maybe I should go look back, right? If you said that this young person was a minor, right? Because, I mean, that's the thing, right? A few things here, right? Number one, we are mandated reporters. When you work for the New York City Department of Education, you are a mandated reporter, right? But you have to be very specific on what you're reporting, right? Um, if this young person is in school dressed in a particular way, right? Which I didn't get, you didn't share that it was very provocative or anything of that nature, but just more so not like how he's dressed at home. In my personal opinion, and also what I know as being a mandated reporter, there's nothing there to actually that you're actually mandated to report, right? And the reason why I say that is because I'm not clear on what's happening that's putting the young person in danger or what you might assume. Like it's nothing happening there. What you're saying is that he has on a wig, he has on contacts, he has on lip gloss. Okay. I mean, what about that would suggest that he's in any danger? Now, it would have been different if you would have said that maybe because of these things, he's getting bullied in school. You know, if you felt that there was there was something there that was where he was being presented with something dangerous happening to him, or as a result of what he's doing, he's causing danger or harm, I would totally understand, especially if he's a minor, if you wanted to share this information with his parents, right? Whether they were your neighbors or not, I would totally get that, right? But I just think it sounds like you feel like this young person may be being sneaky or slick behind their parents' back, and you want their parents to be aware that they're being sneaky and slick behind their back. And while I understand as an older adult, why you might want to do that. But I also think that you have to understand that, no shade, sis, that ain't really none of your fucking business, right? And I'm not trying to be shady. I'm not trying to be shady. Again, as the young person's social worker, yes, you definitely want to have conversations that navigate the young person in a more honorable and truthful perspective, and let the young person know, they can be free to be who they are, and they should always be forthcoming with, with honesty. I get all of that. I get all of that as a social worker. I respect it, right? Because I also work with social workers. So I understand, like, there is definitely some mandates that have to be fulfilled in the job that you work in. I got that. I got that 200%, right? But there's nothing, once again, legally there that would suggest that you need to report anything to anybody, at least nothing that you said in your letter, right? The fact of the matter is the young person is being sneaky behind their parents' back. They're switching up their appearance. They're leaving out their home one way and then getting somewhere and showing up as someone or with something else on. That is unfortunate that they're sneaking behind their parents' back. But sweetie, that's what young people do. Welcome to the New York City Department of Education. I can let you know I've been in the field 17 plus years. That is what young people do. Also, I was young before, so I snuck and did things behind my parents' back too, right? It's just, in this case, I think you may feel like there is an issue because this person may be struggling with their sexuality, and you feel like that could present an issue, so you would like the parents to know. I get it. I get the moral standard behind it. I totally get it and understand it. But I think you need to be clear on the legalities here. And there's nothing legally or illegally being done that would suggest you're mandated to report anything, right? So let's talk about your moral compass. While I respect it, I respect that you want the young person to live in their truth. You want them to be honest. You want them to be forthcoming. You want them to be a young person with integrity. That's what's up. That's also what I'm trying to do with my young people that I work with, trying to foster and help build healthy relationships and well-rounded young people. Got it. Got it. Now, if you want to work with the young person from that standpoint, perfect, wonderful, beautiful. I think that's a beautiful thing, by helping to teach the young person that it's okay to live in their truth, to be confident. I totally get and respect that part of it. But snitching on them to the parents, sweetie, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And you know why? Absolutely not. Because number one, there is nothing that you need to actually report. So that means that you are just being a snitch and being nosy. And that's not going to help when you're trying to build a relationship. And that's with anybody, not just young people. That's with anybody on the planet. If you do something with ill intent towards me, how are we going to build and have a rapport and do anything? I don't want you to be my social worker no more. Matter of fact, bitch, fuck you. And I should slap you. And I should tell my parents, you're a weird ass bitch. Like, it's a lot of young people don't play. Young people do not play. So you have to be prepared and anticipate these behaviors. So my suggestion would be, and I'm saying this coming from the Healing Hearts perspective, but also as a person who works in the New York City Department of Education, I really, 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 really feel like you should try to approach this situation from the standpoint of, first of all, is there something that you're being dishonest about? Because you're only assuming that his family doesn't know his sexuality and so on and so forth. They may very well be aware that he just may not dress that way in front of them. And that's fine. So before you go with the assumption, it might be you start to build a relationship where this young person feels comfortable with sharing what is actually going on. He may say, my mom and dad, they understand what I'm into, what I'm interested in, but they're not really familiar with or comfortable with me dressing as though I'm the other sex. So I prefer not to do that at home. Okay, fine. And if the young person says, no, they're not aware, but I do feel more comfortable dressing this way, then you try to encourage the young person to be confident enough to share what he likes and what makes him happy with his parents. And that is how you build a relationship. You support him in navigating what that looks like for him and living in his truth, right? Because at that point, he won't feel like you're against him, you're snitching on him, you're being weird. It will be more so like you're helping me, you're assisting me, you're supporting me, you're guiding me. You're doing what social workers do. which again, that's your role. So that's very important here, right? All right. So as I said, I think it would be in your best interest to get the details first. Number one, right? I felt like it was a little odd for you and the young person to both act as if y'all didn't know each other. That was a little odd for me. I think it would have made more sense to introduce yourself as though who he is, right? Hey, how are you, so and so? Good to see you again. That's it. You didn't have to go into detail about where you seen him at because maybe y'all was in front of some other people and you both didn't want the other people to know. Okay, that's fine. That is perfectly fine. You have that right. So you don't got to go into detail. Oh my God, I haven't seen you in my building in a long time. No, no, no. But also not acknowledging that you know this young person, you already created the weird space, right? Because now you going along with fuck shit. You know, no. Again, and when you would have had the opportunity to get along with the young person, then you share. Hey, don't you live on, let's say he lives on the 6th, you live on the 4th. Okay. And your mom and dad is? Okay, good to see you, right? My suggestion would be not even bringing up the appearance at all at this point, right? Because it's not like you said, well, this young person is wearing very provocative clothing and it can be triggering for other students and yada, yada, yada. No, you just said he's dressing like the opposite sex. That's fine. That is fine. You don't have to bring that up. You guys can have regular conversation about what's going on in your life, and eventually that will come up. And you can then work into it like, okay, so let me ask, why aren't you? Because things like that will, okay. Situations like that will kind of trickle out on its own. But when you try to force these conversations or pry, once again, it looks like you're being weird, right? So what you would do is pretend as though you see no difference other than what you see in your building. And as the conversation is going on, he may say something like, oh, my friends got mad at me because I made it to the party late the other day, right? He might say that's why he's having a bad day. His friend circle is not speaking to him. He said, oh, why did not speak to you? Oh, because they had a party and the party started at 10. I didn't get there till 12, right? Okay, well, what happened? Why you didn't get there till 12? Because when I left my house, I had to go change, right? So then your next question would be, you left your house to change? You couldn't change in your house? No. Why? Because what I'm wearing, I can't wear at my house. Is it what you want to wear though? Yes. So you can't wear what you want to wear in your house? No. Why? And then it opens up the conversation of him saying that, listen, my family doesn't approve of it, but it's what I prefer. So I just do it outside. And then you go down the road of, is there a way that you think you can have this conversation with your parents about, how happy it makes you? Because I think they want you to be happy as their kid, no matter what that looks like, as long as it's not dangerous to you. Like, it's a lot of ways to navigate this conversation where you support the young person. But going to try to quote unquote tell on them, to the parents. And I know you're not viewing it as being a snitch because you see how you opened up the letter, basically like, this is coming from like the social worker standpoint. Again, I understand the social worker standpoint. I also understand about being mandated to share certain information, but this doesn't sound like anything is happening that you would be mandated to report, so I don't want you to. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't want you to now put yourself in an awkward situation. And also, like you said, this is a new job. This is a new job. So the other part about that is now, like you said, I could damn near lose my new job doing something that really and truly I could have handled a little differently. And the way I'm trying to assist you in handling this, you would be supporting the student. You will be helping to guide the student and navigate them in the right direction. So this works out for all parties and not just what works out for you. And a little bit, it does sound like you more so care about, letting the parents know because the kid is being sneaky. There's levels to this shit, mommy. There's levels. You have to be able to navigate that better than that. And also because in your new job and in your new role, you're being trusted with these young people. You're being trusted to navigate them and guide them in the right direction to make better choices. So it would make sense for you to try to get from that young person, what's going on? Why are you doing something? Why are you hiding something that you love from your parents, the people that love you? there's a disconnect there. So let's figure that thing out. And the disconnect could be, oh, they don't approve of either your lifestyle, or they don't approve of you dressing in this way, but you approve of it and you love it and it's for you, right? So I think having that conversation with them and letting them know that this is what is going to take place because it's what makes me happy in a way that's respectful, instead of you hiding and keeping it from them and having to be 2 hours late to a party because you have to hide and keep something from the people that love you, you know? And one thing I learned about love is a very powerful thing. It helps folks accept anything depending on how much they love you. So initially, granted, if this is not what your parents are used to or what they're into, you'll definitely get pushed back. He'll get pushed back, but there'll be ways to navigate that where it works out. And it's your job that you signed on for when you left your quote, your words, the bum ass post office. You signed on to help these young people do that. It's your responsibility, my dear. I'm putting the onus on you. I put it on myself every single day. So, what a tangly web we weave. You know what? This web is not tangled too bad though. This web is not tangled too bad. In the field that you're in, the human service field that you're in, the social work field that you've entered, we have to be very, very mindful of self. In these moments, I personally feel like you were not mindful of self, but you were thinking about you were being selfish without being mindful of the fact that that was selfish, right? So like I said, it was more about you letting the parents know, like, look what this kid is doing behind your back, where you didn't think about, well, how that could affect the young person. Also, how you could handle it better. Also thinking about maybe if some of this stuff is a trigger for you. And not necessarily the change, not necessarily the sexuality or the changing of clothes of any of that. Is it a trigger for you is it a trigger for you for people to be sneaky and do things behind your back? Was that what triggered you? Maybe the fact that this young person was outside of the house living a whole lifestyle that his parents didn't know anything about. Maybe that was something that triggered you. Maybe that's your shit. But my dear, we will be getting to the bottom of that in your Operation Hill One Jars one-on-one sessions. Ladies and gentlemen, guess who's back? What's up, my good people? Y'all know me. I know how to come back with a bang. Y'all know I know how to come back with a bang. And here I am. All right. Mo better, I ain't even gonna go there. In any event, ladies and gentlemen, your girl is back. Please hit the thumbs up on that video. If you are here right now, that means you reached the end of the video. You should be in the comment section dropping your commentary. DJ, I agree with you. You ate that. DJ, you did not eat that. Try again. DJ, you're a little rusty since you got back. DJ, you ain't never lost your touch. Keep it real with me. I want to know what you guys think. And also, let's help this young lady out. Maybe you have some feedback that I may have missed. Maybe you have some feedback that I was wrong about. Maybe I hit the nail on the head and you like, girl, you are the Jesus Christ of this hell shit. I fucks with you. In any event, no matter what you feel, I want to hear it. I love getting you guys feedback, and thank you for tuning in. Please, please, please be safe and enjoy your day. Mwah.